Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. We will begin with this talk about smart applications. I hope you can pay attention after lunch. This is a QR code. Please scan it. And this is a question. Please put this so that we can. What do you think when you think of this word? We're going to give you a few minutes, about 30 seconds. It is one word for you to complete. As you were saying, Nicolás Bergman is the founder of Vistaway, with Martín Pérez Brea, who is the CEO of BASF. We've been working together for 23 years. Juliano Rota from Tecron, from the agro group, and Gabriel Badalasi who is a design engineer and development engineer for Cayman. And here we will speak about these intelligent applications. Let's see if we can get the words. What word do you connect to intelligent applications to control weeds? We can see there savings, efficiency, sustainability, time, prescriptions, speed, precision, agriculture. We will comment on how each of our companies contribute to this smart or intelligent agriculture, which is to be able to produce with technology, with data, with information in an efficient way, so that we can produce more, optimizing inputs and resources to be more efficient and more sustainable. We came here to share with this panel. Mirta says this, and so do I. And we are here to tell you how we contribute to this precision and intelligent agriculture. At BASF, we invest 920 million euros last year. This is 2.5 million a day, because innovation for us is crucial, and it is strategic for us to be able to connect innovation with our customers and also to society, and to be close to organizations and institutions such as Aapresid, and to be protagonists in this Congress. We are proud to be part of this, and we're very happy to be part of this panel. At BASF, we connect our portfolio with the protection of crops, herbicides, fungicides, and the treatment of seeds. We also have seeds. We have hybrids for corn, soy, and sunflower, and we also have digital products. We have our platform, Sarvio, Field Management, which provides the one system, and we will focus on intelligent applications to control weeds, those weeds that are resistant and which are a real problem for Argentina. And we have a platform that accompanies us from planning, sowing, etc. And we need variable applications for this, everything to do with processing images, mapping, digital mapping for weeds, and to be able to use drones to take images of a field, and we will process them in this field manager platform in less than 24 hours, and we can see 3 maps: an orthomosaic, which is the union of these images, then weed infestation, which tells us via different colors where the weeds are and the infestation. And what's even more important, that you can see in purple, is the prescription by sectors of herbicides. And this prescription can be put in a pen drive or even remotely in the pulverizer. We will also have these we will have in the panel each of the companies that contribute to this, and as I said at the beginning, open code to be able to share the importance of having these strategies on this chain so that we can optimize agricultural production and to be more sustainable. We have this in these crops, fallow. We have also the corn, which we launched a couple of months ago, where we recognize weeds as well, and also what's green over green for soy, for peanut, and for corn. And we're also developing new crops to be able to encompass most crops in Argentina. And we connect all of this with this digital portfolio with a robust set of herbicides. And we have an expert here, Juan, who will speak to us about what we offer from BAF when it comes to herbicides. Thank you, Pablo. To connect these solutions is vitally important, because what's most important is to know what's happening on the field, to be able to choose the right herbicides, to see which weeds we have, so we can actually choose the product and we can do the applications via sectors or full coverage, and not put herbicides on the fields that maybe will then hurt the crops. We can see that crops have difficulty to react. So this technology actually opens up the game to use products that are not so prevalent, and because we're going to put it in very sectorized way, we will be able to control this in general. BAF has a very important portfolio nowadays within soy and corn. We don't put all of the products here because we have a lot of products. But I would like to say and put into context the fact that we have new products, for example, Voraxor, which is a product that is a mixture of two PPOs, but this is a residual product that combines it with desiccation, and it will control wide leaf weeds that have low sensitivity to many herbicides and even to PPOs. So this is an interesting tool. I insist that this may be used for full coverage, but with the technology that we're speaking about here and the use of maps for weeds, plus other tools such as pulverizers, which is something we will mention later on today, will allow us to include oriented application, focused applications, and not to mix everything. And that is another important point. And within herbicides, we know that compatibility sometimes are complex for what we aim to do. So to understand our objective and to see the tools and what we will apply them with is very important. Another important point that we wanted to set out, and which is new to us, is that we have obtained the application of Voraxor via drone. That is an innovation that is coming to that sector, and it is a change on how to apply products with this new system. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Juan. And we will now ask the three companies to present their companies and to see how they each can contribute to intelligent applications. Nico, would you like to start? Thank you, Pablo, for your invitation. Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here. My name is Nicolás Berman. I am a technological entrepreneur. Pitawai is an app that connects producers to drone pilots and to analytics. We're going to be speaking about this today so that a producer, without the need to have a drone, can get the solution and can generate the savings that we will comment upon. What's important here for Vista Y is that no matter where the producer is, they can have that solution, because there will be an expert pilot, which is a Vista Y expert. So anybody here who has a drone can register at the app in iOS or Android and register as a pilot and have the opportunity to fly anywhere with a weed map. Thank you, Nico. Now, can you tell us a bit about what your company does and how it contributes? My name is Giuliano. I am in Akron. I work at Akron. For the past 4 years, we have imported this brand. At the beginning, we got, this goes for all kinds of fields. We wanted to see what the niche would be or what we would use it for. It was 2 years of research in all of the different crops to see how many drops would get to a place. We researched for 2 years, and nowadays we are the greatest importers of this. We began with Guille, one of my colleagues, and now there's about 20 people working on the business unit at Akron, and we have over 60 sale points throughout the country that are selling the teams, the equipment. And for the past 4 years, we had started researching these devices. Nowadays, this is not a substitution for machines or to new technologies. It is a complement that the producer has to use for these type of applications. Thank you. We're going to speak about technologies and different tools that complement each other. We were speaking about these companies because of that. Thank you. Gabi, can you tell us a bit about yourself and the company, Cayman, and how it works when it comes to intelligent applications? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriel Balassi. I'm working engineering at Cayman for many years. And when it comes to smart applications, we have been working for over 5 years, seeking and seeing what was most appropriate for our pulverizations, spraying, which is for extensive agriculture. And first of all, what we did was we developed our own tools for precision agriculture, and that allowed us to open up different opportunities to different technologies. Nowadays, the result is that 2 of our teams are self-propelled pulverizers. They're big, and one of them is called SP-DSS, and the other model is SP Drone Red. And the SP-DSS has the one technology, which is a system of smart cameras that detect weeds, integrated with special lights. It works with AI as well, and that allows us to detect weeds day or night in any conditions without the need to calibrate the equipment or the devices. We're very happy with how it works. And it has an algorithm to work with different types of crops: soy, corn, sunflower, sorghum, cotton, and peanuts, and some others, which are mostly used in Europe. And the other model, which is important as well, is our SP Done Ready machine, which is prepared to work with MDM, with the digital weed mapping. And we've worked a lot with the people at Serbia. We've had thousands of hectares that have been analyzed. We do device that is exclusive, and through a pen drive or through a remote means, you can load the prescription, and the machine does the spotting for fallow. The two models, what's important about these is that the two models that we have, that we brought from the factory, have a system of double pulverizing, double system, double pump, double system of regulation, and double line. Each of the pulverization lines has a peak-to-peak and recirculation. So these are two machines that are equipped fully from the factory with the factory's guarantee. You don't have to retrofit anything. You don't have to add anything. They are ready to be used. Thank you, Gaby. One is something that we did with Bosch, BAF, and Cayman, and we have developed the machine with cameras, and they've given excellent results, and they are in Brazil, the US, and Europe.
I wanted to add that with these models, with Cayman, we have 10 machines working on the field with an average of 10,000 hectares per machine. Okay, we'll have some questions, and at the end, we will also have questions from the audience. So, Nico, the question is for you. What is the process like? How do you start with weed mapping to request a drone flight? How do you interact with the drone operators? For weed maps, you have two alternatives. You can go to a ambassador who can offer this service, or you can use VistaY, the app, and you can request it through the app. So what is the process like? We have three players that are very important for us to get that prescription to use the sprayer. We have the drone pilots, because you are not going to operate the drones yourselves. And we also have analytics, the algorithm, which is valuable to make the use of the resources more efficient. The process starts with a request. We are like the Glovo or the Rappi app, but for farming. Through VistaY, you can request a digital weed map. You get this notification, the pilots get, or the experts get, the notification that there is a producer that needs the weed map. You choose a pilot, because that pilot will make an offering of the service cost. So the requester will select a pilot. The pilot and the requester can chat on the application. You can make arrangements depending on the weather. The expert pilots are well qualified to provide a solution. And once they finish, they can load the images on VistaY. This is where the images are processed. These images are delivered to the producer, and this is how we close the circle. The question is, how about the economic side of the equation? The producer pays directly to the pilot through the platform. In this way, we achieve a 100% digital process, frictionless, so that any producer can access the solution. As part of this partnership, we provide ongoing support. For instance, if you have concerns and if you don't know whether the lot is in the right condition regarding weeds, you can ask for advice. This technology has been developed for 10 years, but over the past 2 years, it really had a boom in terms of demand. And drone technology generates value with this product, so we need to help each other. There are many components. There is a drone, there is a flight app, there is image loading, there is an algorithm, and the prescription has to go into the sprayer, and we have many functions, and we try to reduce and to make it as efficient as possible. We are working with Techron to make it a seamless process so that it will be a frictionless experience. So producers who already have drones can also upload images with the advice of Istawai, and this is part of selecting the right place, because not all plots will be right for this kind of situation. So you can process images in less than 24 hours and obtain the maps you were talking about, so as to have sector-specific images. You talked about drone ready. What are the advantages? I know it has a double tank, a double bar, and can you give us a description of this machine? Well, the model I mentioned, SPSS, and the other one, they have double tank and double spray line. It gives it many advantages when it comes to application. We have been conducting applications in the same way for 40 years. And today, with the new technology, using digital mapping and cameras, with the double spray line, we have an interesting range of options and agronomical schemes that we can apply. Drone Ready is prepared for this, the same as SPSS. They give you many possibilities. You can have pre- and post-emerging fallow, and also insecticides with herbicides in crops. There are thousands of opportunities and options depending on the type of complexity, depending on the weed, the products that are being used, the different strategies. This allows us to have a sort of change of paradigm. The way the product is sprayed is more or less similar, but we can choose different treatments. And those more than 10,000 hectares you were talking about, Gabi, how much of it is dual and how much is selective? We have 10 machines with that quantity of hectares, and approximately 70% of machines are working with the dual method and 30% in selective option. The importance of the dual option, it provides a value added to the selective machine. At BAFS, with our portfolio, we see the advantage of the double tank and the double bar. Yes, for the herbicide control strategy, this kind of tool technically is very useful. For producers, they have a challenge with the accumulation of active principles in the plots. So, being able to work with residual products that provide full coverage when the lots do not have high coverage, we are talking about lots where we have very high coverage and we need total application. In that case, we need total weed control. But oftentimes what we see is that we have sorghum and we have some plants, and we need to apply residual options for subsequent soy crops. So we need to work with a product that can have phytotoxicity or can have some kind of effect on soy. We will not be applying it all over the plot. We will apply it exactly in the location where it is needed, and we will have a battery of pre-emerging or pre-sowing alternatives. This also helps with product compatibility. In the tank, we will not have to mix anything. For some specific cases, we will have some specific solutions. We may not apply the same product to the entire lot, but just on those weeds or those spots where it is needed. The residual products will be applied just where they are needed. And this gives us a different technical possibility to address the plot with a different tool. In other cases, we could have used a selective approach and then a full coverage approach with a single application. From the logistics point of view, it is a major change, and it should be considered. We have a very large portfolio of herbicides, and the question that we get is, how are we going to mix the substances? What is the order of spraying? So being able to separate and say, in this plot, this is a problem that I have, well, I'm going to use this kind of tool or strategy. This gives us a broader spectrum of choice. The dual machine has been devised as a selective or conventional machine, but then we started to find other advantages, and the chemical compatibility is one of those advantages that we discovered after using it. We saw a video, T100. It's a monster. Can you give us more details about the specifications? Because it looks great. This machine was released 25 days ago. Before it, the previous version was T50 with less capacity. We were able to cover less hectares, but with the T100 model, we can have more than one function. We can have sowing, solid fertilization, and also spraying. That is the widest use that it has. It has 100-liter capacity. You will never load it to the full capacity because the most common load would be 60 liters. In some cases, we are applying doses or dose levels of 8 to 10 liters, 100 hectares per flight, not per hour, per flight. In an hour, you can have 30 or 32 hectares covered. It is not a substitute for machines, but in a single device, you can do sowing and spraying and applications. You can work at any time of the day after the rain, for instance, when the machines cannot go in, you can do it. When you have to apply fungicides or insecticides, sometimes because of the quality of application, you have to do it overnight, and the window of application is broader. There are new improvements every year. This latest equipment has improvements in radars. In previous versions, we had some problems with radars, but this year we included artificial intelligence. It has more flight time, so it is not a substitute, but it competes in a very good way. And it is also compatible with VistaY. we sell it. It has green cameras that detect the color of weed on the field so that you know where the application has to be done. This helps optimize resources, both liquids and machines. I believe it is a very good tool. These trends have been growing in terms of volume and drone application. We got a new record last week. We were the first company to obtain a registration for application with drones. Yes, we were registered for Varakstore. These are the first two registrations that we have, and it's a technology that continues to make progress. These are complementary. We try to make the application more efficient and to make the use of products more efficient. And it's a challenge. We also have different volumes. This entails a challenge. It is very important to obtain it. The BAF's recommendations are very relevant, and some of these are ready to use. The complexity is that in a few liters, several substances can be included. This is a topic that it is a priority for producers, and we understand it. Please tell us about the flight protocol for the pilots. For the digital weed maps, the protocol requires this drone is a Mavic or a Phantom. Just to give you some names, it's very affordable. One of the critical points for the protocol is spatial resolution, which has to be 2.8 to 3 centimeters. There is a range of flexibility. This determines the flight height. Based on the height, they have different resolutions, they have different sensors, so that GCD is the spatial resolution. The drone does a tour. It goes back and forth. That overlay on the sides is 70%, and the frontal overlay of photos, as the photos are triggered, is 20%. This has to do with configuration parameters for the drone flight. Regarding the speed, well, this is solved automatically. And what needs to be taken into account is, well, weather conditions. The flight should take place when there is no change in light, 100% sunny day or 100% cloudy day. Try to avoid wind of more than 15 or 20 kilometers per hour so that there is no out of focus of the sensor. The camera has a stabilizer, which is very good, but it's best to fly it without wind or windy conditions. And don't fly too early or too late, because this will create a shadow. With these parameters, we are ready to fly. And whoever wants to implement this, you can get in touch with Sarvio or VistaY, and we will help you with the process. Yes, it is extremely important to observe all protocols, to choose the right plot for dual application, for selective application, for drones, and also for images. Observe the protocol, because images are very important to help analyze and to allow algorithms identify weeds. Sometimes you see a plot, or you see it is red, for instance, and it is scattered throughout the plot, and you may choose sectorized or sector-specific approach. If you connect the buffers, that lot probably will not apply for this technology. This technology is good for well-defined spots, such as sorghum, Aleppo, other grasses, and technology really creates an integrated solution when capturing data and for decision-making with the spray machines.
Selective application, how does it work? The one team with cameras, smart cameras like I mentioned, infrared cameras, allows to pulverize 20 kilometers per hour. And in the case of a drone ready, with a digital mapping of weeds, we can recommend 20 kilometers per hour, because that's where they begin to optimize the buffer. The speed goes up, and you have to be careful with the buffers you create so that you don't leave any weeds out. When we speak about intelligent agriculture, the weed control, our objective is to control the weeds. Then we have a second goal, which is to optimize the resource, to use less water, to be more efficient when it comes to energy, etc. But the important thing is to work on the weeds. We generate buffers, we create buffers, because many times we have geopositioning mistakes when it comes to flying with the drone. And also when the pulverizer takes the images, sometimes we have less than a meter of reprocessing, and the opportunity to have different buffers to be able to hit the right weeds. You can have a buffer for 3 or 5 meters, and when it comes with applying with drone, you get the chance to choose a buffer that is a bit smaller. Okay? Anything else? Otherwise, we'll go to your last question. I'm told that we have to go to the last question. I cannot extend the time, so we're going to ask each of the 3 companies, how do you see the evolution of these technologies in the following years? We've seen that, for example, Giuliano, if you want to begin, you launched 2 different products in 2 years. How does it look? Every year we have a new device or equipment, and the sale of equipment is being exponential. 2 years ago, we sold about 27 devices throughout the country, and last year it was 580, and this year we hope to get to 1,400 or 1,500 devices. They have great quality, and that's what we want to control weeds. Today, we were talking about speed, whether we went to 20 or 72 kilometers per hour. You have to see what application we do at 72 kilometers per hour. I think first we have to see what we want to do and where we want to reach and what speed. But then each year we improve the devices. It's very difficult to think what can come in future. I think at some point we will have an equipment or a device that can see and applies on its own. But the most important is for the quality of application and autonomy, and so that it can see obstacles, because it is an aerial equipment and there may be crashes. And this allows the contractor or the provider to change to new technologies. Nico, what's coming up? What do we see at Vista Y? We have been working with drone technology and always thinking about what algorithms or which solutions we can give to the producers. We have the same problems as producers, so the evolution of the satellite that we saw to begin with 50 meters, then we went to 30 meters, 10 meters, 3 meters. Nowadays, we have resolution of half a centimeter per pixel in drones, so we have endless data. And with the drone technology in the 10 years, it's been like a lifetime has gone by. And from flying the drones almost manually to go to flight plans, where it was made a bit more automatic. And in future, I think the technology, together with AI, is going to autonomous systems. That's what I think. I think in the near future, most of the devices that we're working on today will be autonomous. We'll have autonomous tractors, autonomous drones. Some drones are within a docker, and they open up on their own, and they go and do their work and then come back, and you can be operated with a control board from the office. So that has already happened. It's not a promise, it's not an idea, it's a reality. There is a regulatory issue to accompany all this, and the future, as far as I see it, is in this being autonomous for the activities and tasks that we carry out rurally. What do we have? In the short and mid-term, we see that the use of these machines with smart applications will increase. We still see a bit of resistance in the producers to work with these devices. We work on this every day with Cayman team from the business side and from the technical side. We see that it is inevitable. This is a path that only moves forward. We will have digital mapping, applications with cameras. This is in the short and mid-term. And as I was saying, longer term, we'll probably go to autonomous machines. But when it comes to agriculture, this has opened up a door. And behind that door, there is a world, a new world. Because we're learning, we're just learning at the moment. As Juan was saying, we are discovering more and more ways to work, more work schemes. And then also with mapping, as you can, Salvio with his platform allows us to see point by point where we apply. It allows us to see where we had the different types of weeds, and for agricultural engineers, this will change the way they work as well. We will analyze data much more before we go out on the fields, and it will make us a lot more efficient. What do we have? What I see, perhaps it is redundant, we always speak about how hard it is to have an efficient new tool, new molecules. It is difficult, it takes a lot of time, and there's not a lot of changes when it comes to mode of action, and the problems are becoming more and more complex. So what we see is that all of these tools, the set of tools, allow us to work more specifically, in a more focused way, and allows us to use tools that we don't use today in crops, because we will minimize the damage within the field, and we will get to the goal of that weed not expanding. And in that sense, that changes us and sets a different type of challenge. We will be able to do different things, knowing that this will generate locally some kind of damage, but it won't affect the whole of the field as weeds would do. In that sense, I think it gives us a tool to be more specific from the point of view of getting to know what happens within the field by being able to map it, see how it evolves, and knowing that from the chemical tool side, it's not easy to bring new molecules, and this will also allow us to be more efficient in the use of these tools, make us more sustainable. Due to lack of tools, we do apply to the whole of the field. Sometimes that is not necessary. And that sometimes we use spotting in a way. And today we do that application, and with these new tools, we apply it in different parts of the lot. This allows us to be more sustainable and to improve the margin for the crop, because we will add technology on the one hand and reduce it on the other hand. So in the end, that combination of technologies will improve our numbers, make us more sustainable, and it is the focus that we have. The producer, in general ways, that's what they're looking for. Thank you to the panel. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And at BAF, we have our vision, which is for the love of agriculture. And we consider that what we all do is the most valuable job in the world. We have to do it in a sustainable way, and we have to look after each other. Now we can go to questions. Questions? Who wants to take this question? There's still no law that says or that states how far we can go with machines or with planes, or with a drone you can go 100, 150 meters perhaps. I think to have a technology that goes over the crop, we need to have some air in between. The wind affects us, but it can be controlled, the size of the drop. So when temperature goes up, or the wind velocity, you can make the drop bigger or smaller, you can diminish the speed, and at the same time, you can shorten the drift. From Cayman, what we're doing, we have a meteorological station and a monitoring unit on our machine. So the operator has a monitor that tells him the conditions they're working in. There is like a kind of traffic light system to see how efficient the pulverization is, and they can take decisions based on that. There's several questions to do with price. We're not going to say the price, but we do have the 4 stands. The 4 companies are here, so you can go close. You can ask for the different prices there. We invite you to do that. For us, for Gabi, how about the width of the done ready and the one? How wide can they encompass? In the case of one, with a camera that is equipped on you can do 36 meters. That can be with botalones of carbon fiber or steel. And in done ready, that can be extended to 48 meters wide. We'll do one in presence and one virtual. All of these products have a peak type of cut, which makes things more efficient. And it shrinks the buffers. I wanted to ask, sorry, there's no mic. Want to thank everybody for your presentation. The model that Cayman is presenting today brings forth the dilemma. What do you think will be resolved quicker, via cameras that are on the machines or via the drone flights that we know work nowadays? But when it comes to scaling, you can begin to have processing problems or capacity problems. Where do you see that this will be easier to work on when it comes to mapping? We have already gone through that. We have both machines that are commercial and they are ready to work with the cameras mounted on them, or with digital mapping of weeds. The one with cameras require a higher initial investment, but you have everything there and you may avoid the digital mapping. And then we have the other one, the done ready, which is ready, as the name says, and it allows you not to have such a huge initial investment, but later on you'll need more work daily for that. It depends on the scale and the kind of work you need to carry out. That is the difference between the two products. Gaby, may I add to that? Image processing in Sarvio is less than 24 hours. What may take time is to upload images. It is important to have connection to be able to upload the images, but we process them in the cloud. You don't need to have a processor in your computer. That is done on the cloud. In less than 24 hours, you can have the images. You can have them on the next day, within 24 hours. Another question that we just got, whether the mapping with drones on soy recognizes corn. The answer is yes, it does. So that you can see it on corn or soy. It's important for the crop not to have closed the trace. The algorithm is not ready for that yet. As long as that is not closed, when there is volunteer corn, even with, you can detect grasses there. So the answer is yes. So what the algorithm does with machine learning is it recognizes the morphology of soy. So anything that is outside soy, it thinks it's either volunteer corn or weeds. Let's go to another question. You mentioned, you talked about, you're saying that these have the logo, and we have the same first product that can be applied correctly or under the right law for drones. Because you mentioned, and I think that's the way it is, there are two different rules, SENASA and ANAC, which rules the airspace, And today, we were in that gray area of not having products that are registered to be applied with a drone. And today we have products that will have on their labeling the drone. And if that's so, what dose and whether there's any difference with the dosage of when it comes to conventional application. When it comes to dosage, it's the same. That doesn't change. And when you look at it on the label, it won't be on all products. This is a new registry, so what has already been manufactured, it's already approved, but it's still not on the label. So these are the changes that are generated within the labels. They keep moving forward according to how the campaigns move forward. So the registration is today. It is done, but what is commercial today will not be encompassed, but it can be used. The label is approved already on the website. If you go into the Voraxor and hit have the approval to be applied with drone, but the actual bottle won't have it then. There are some labels that have dosage when it comes to aerial application, and sometimes that dose is less than when you put it on the ground. And in Europe, there are some products that are registered under CDA, which is a type of technology that drones use, and they have a different dose to the conventional one due to the fact that there is a lot of concentrated active principle ingredient. Here you have the quality of application and the dose that you're going to apply per hectare. In selective application, it's not a hectare because it is the peak that gives it. But when it comes to concentration or the amount of active ingredient that you need to control that weed needs to be guaranteed. So we go from there. And you'll see that with a hit looking for that desiccation, it'll be the same because I'm going to ask for the same active substance to have that in general terms. That is a focus, and the discussion is normally to say what you actually put on the label is not what we apply, and that's the way it is. It's important. What's most important is the amount of impact. You have to have that amount of active ingredient to be able to get that result. And with those products, those dosages are maintained. And with Voraxor, we will be speaking about the residual action. So it is the same amount on the soil. The challenges is less quantity of liters, and normally we are used to. It is a change in the way we work, because when we work with herbicides that are residual, we work with various volumes to reach 10 liters for aerial applications, looking for residual products or systemic products. And here we are seeking that dose and that amount of active, which allow us that through time we can keep controlling weeds. That is important.
Okay, we need to round up. We need to close the session. Thank you for your interest. We will be providing more technical information soon. There are more products on the pipeline, and there are other apps or drone applications. My lips are sealed, but we will soon announce the news. Thank you for participating and for your interest. We will be happy to receive you at the booth.